So you clicked on the video, we're selling all of our motorcycles, we're getting out of the game for good. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Yami Noob. Calamity here in the shop as all of the motorcycles are being sold. Everything is happening all at once. It seems like whenever one person gets a new bike, the other person has to get a bike, and the other person... So let's start off with the first person who got a bike. It was Josh, actually. Yeah. He got his bike first. So Josh here on Yami Noob did not sell any of his bikes. He actually did the N+1 rule, and he got himself a CRF 250L, which you guys will see in tomorrow's video. For the Dirt Boys video that we're doing. And we actually have some personal changes in our stables as well. You're doing N+0. Yep. I'm doing N-2, I think, or 3? I don't remember.
N-2, I think.
N-2, yeah. So going away from the formula of N+1, as many motorcyclists say, but I don't know, man. Nowadays, I'm like, I don't want any more bikes. I think like 2 or 3 is good, but tell the people at home, what's going on with your personal stable?
Okay, so a lot has happened in the last like month in my motorcycle world. A couple of months ago, some of you might remember, my SMCR had an attempted theft happen. And somebody basically jammed a screwdriver into the ignition, ripped a panel off the bike. It was like $250 worth of damage. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it fixed because I was waiting on parts to get in from Austria because they have to hand manufacture it like it's some kind of Swiss watch. And while I was waiting, somebody made another attempt to steal my motorcycle.
I can't believe how many thefts and attempted thefts you've had. It's up to 4 now, right?
This is the third. This is the third attempt on my bikes, and then my girlfriend had one stolen, and then we recovered it. So
insane.
4 in Spite Land over here.
We gotta get you a garage.
Yeah. The problem with this attempted theft is they did more damage to the ignition, and they cracked my frame.
Yeah.
So normally you think, oh, frame damage, the bike's a total loss, and that's exactly what I thought. And then I went to TJ's over here in Austin. They were like, nah, man, it's like $2,000 and then 10 hours worth of labor. The bike's a lot, so you're just gonna have to sit here and wait.
Really quick, if I recall though, in 2020, you had the same thing happen with the DRZ where it was laid up for like 2 or 3 months because of the Electron issue, right?
Yep.
So once again, here you are, your supermoto, laid up for months on end. Time is a flat circle, is it not?
Oh man, it's like, and it's about the same time too, because
it's about the same time.
I laid up the DRZ in March, and then I got it running again in June, right before.
I used to joke with you. I was like, I'm gonna start charging you rent because it would just sit here forlorn in the corner. So your Sumo, your KTM is down, and then the DRZ
is for sale.
It's for sale because you finally have decided that enough is enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun working on that bike, and I've done a lot of stuff with it. But I was looking at the paperwork, and I've only put about 2,000 or 3,000 miles on it in this 2 years that I've had it.
Which isn't a lot, honestly.
No, it's not.
Especially considering that we rode it in Big Bend and we did a bunch of stuff with it, you know?
Yeah, and what that means to me is when I'm reaching for the keys to a motorcycle, I'm reaching to the keys for the SMCR because it's a better supermoto.
Yes.
So I don't need 2 supermotos anymore, and converting the DRZ to a full dual sport would be a major headache.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm going to sell that motorcycle. Well, I'm not thinking. I am selling it. It is currently for sale. And I'm replacing it maybe this afternoon. This very afternoon, I will be replacing it with a 2022 KLR 650 from Kawasaki.
I have mixed feelings about this KLR. On the one hand, the KLR is a great bike. Known platform, can do anything, the donkey of the motorcycling world. On the other hand, it's a KLR.
It's a donkey.
It's a donkey, and it makes like 40 horsepower out of 480 pounds wet and ready to ride. Yep. But you want to take this and basically make it a long distance adventure bike, you know, really kind of pack on the miles on it and have some fun with it, right? That's the idea?
Yeah, my idea with this KLR is to use it exactly as it's designed. I want to take it on some like light, flowy gravel roads, maybe some more tough 2 lanes, because it can do it. It absolutely can do it.
All day, yeah.
And at 75 miles an hour, it can just cruise. So I can do big miles on it. I mean, KLRs will do hundreds of thousands of miles without having to rebuild the top end. I've seen, you know, Gen 1s with like 180,000 miles on them. On this original motor.
Probably more street miles than you and I have combined.
Yes.
So
theoretically, the KLR is just an anvil. Like I can just run it forever. And the fuel injected one, even better, because then I don't have to futz with the carburetor. One thing I did learn is carburetors aren't that bad when they're working, but when they're not, it's a headache.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I went with the Electron, but I just don't want to have to live that life again.
Yeah.
So fuel injected, full-on adventure bike, finally. I'm just planning on having as much fun with this bike as humanly possible, and I'm gonna have it for like a good 3 or 4 months, maybe even like 6 while I'm waiting for the SMCR to come back.
Yeah.
So I will be full-on KLR boy.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. I mean, I'm really pumped for it. But your new bike is like super wild, and I think it shows the dichotomy between my aspirations off-road and your aspirations off-road.
Yes.
So tell the people what it's all about.
All right, so I picked up, I think 2 weeks ago now, a new to me 2019 Husqvarna Hus Chainsaw 501 FE, FE 501S. So that is the dual sport variant of their, as they call it on their website, Titanic 510cc single cylinder. And you know what, man, I believe it. That's a colossal power band on that thing. I picked that bike up because I am also selling some of my motorcycles and doing some fun things with my bikes too. I got to the point the other day, this was about a month ago, where I was just kind of sitting on my couch looking up at the ceiling and being like, you know, you never want to have this talk, you never want to think this to yourself, but I was just like, I own too many motorcycles, man. And it happened whenever I made that video with the 3 bikes I never make videos about, and I listed them all on the whiteboard, and I was like, that's so much to worry about. And like, the Turbo Hayabusa is like an elderly person I'm constantly taking care of, you know what I mean? I gotta change out his diapers and go check on him, buy him groceries and stuff, you know? Like an old forgotten dog, I need to just constantly do stuff too. So that takes up a lot of bandwidth. The kind of off-road riding I wanna do nowadays, I was like, I just want one bike that can do it all.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I can't find that right bike, so I need all these different bikes. And then I got turned on to the 501, and I was like, I saw some guy rip up motocross with it. I was like, whoa, what? A dual sport? And he was doing jumps. I was like, I can do jumps. I saw another guy crushing these enduro tracks with it. It's plated. You can go on road with it. I was like, damn, this bike can get rid of my WR250. It can basically get rid of my motocross 250. Yeah, it's not as capable, but I'm not a pro motocross guy. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to do jumps, you know?
Do you need the 10/10ths version?
No, I just want to do jumps and dick around.
Yeah.
And it can go on road. So I was like, well, the desert sled doesn't really need to be in my stable, which something fun's gonna be happening with that bike. I'm not getting rid of it. I love that bike, not selling it. But these two don't really have a room for them in the stable anymore. And yeah, the 501 is as polar opposite from the KLR as you can possibly get. And again, you guys will see it tomorrow. And I don't have it here at the shop with me today because it was extremely cold this morning and I did not want to ride in the cold. So it's not here. But you'll see it tomorrow in a video. We'll put up some cool photos of it or some videos with it or something like that. But yeah, to your point, I had my fun with the WR. I owned it for about a year. I put 1,300 miles on it.
Also not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah. And that was my thing too, where I was like, I'm not really riding all that much. So I was like, I can get away with something that has super crazy maintenance intervals.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I rode this 1,300 miles. That's about as much as you'd want to do on a 501 and then like have to do some of the maintenance stuff. So I was like, yeah, whatever, you know? And it's one bike instead of 3 that you have to worry about, you know? So I was like, I think it's going to be a good move for me. And so far, the thing is just, holy crap, it's a revelation, you know? It's unbelievably good. It's so lightweight. It weighs like 250 pounds ready to ride. That's crazy compared to like 300 on this thing.
So that's almost two of those equals 1 KLR?
Just about, yeah. It's lightweight, it's skinny, it's narrow, it has like 13.6 inches of ground clearance. The thing's on stilts, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a really, really cool bike. And yeah, I just want to have it be my do everything motorcycle. If I want to go do trails with it, go crush some trails. If I want to do motocross, I could chuck it on a motocross track. If I want to go single track, if I want to ride it on road and just rip wheelies everywhere because that's all it wants to do, just do that. So yeah, I'm a Husqvarna boy now.
You're betraying the home team, man. KTM.
I know. But the Husqvarna actually has a linkage suspension at the rear like a motocross bike, which is why I got it over the 500 EXCF. But yeah, this is my second KTM that I owned and probably won't be my last, but I don't know, maybe I'll keep this bike still. I don't know. They're both for sale, but we'll see. I haven't had any nibbles yet because it's cold out right now.
So I'm thinking everybody's now worried that we're out of the sport bike game and it's all just dual sports all the time now.
I know.
Dual sports and ADV only.
I mean, it's tough because if you didn't have to make YouTube videos, would you ride on the street sport as much as we do?
No.
I probably wouldn't either. I mean, I've got my race bike. That's plenty fun for me, and I like going on track, but I don't really see a room in my stable for a sport naked.
I mean, I just see riding on road as a means to an end at this point. It like gets me to the place where I'm going to go have fun.
Yeah, totally.
And at that point, do I need something that can go mega fast? Like we were talking when we were riding out in Bastrop about how your bike shakes like crazy at 75 miles an hour. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, well, if you only do 65 and you're not worried about it, then you're fine.
Yeah, that's what I had to learn with it, because I'd get up to 75 and I was like, oh my God, this sucks. And then I dialed it back to 65 and I was like, oh, this is totally reasonable. I just have to go slower.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It might add 5 minutes to my total time, but
Oh no.
who cares, you know?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the ride on the bike. And for all the other times I need to get there fast, I've got a Turbo Hayabusa. I'm fine.
I feel like spooling up the Turbo Hayabusa, it's like when Superman flies backwards around the world.
Yes.
And you actually arrive there before you even leave.
Yeah, that bike is here in the shop as well. I got an update video on that coming at some point. It needs one more thing. I know I've been saying that for the better part of a year now. Just one more thing and then it'll run right. Just one more thing. We've got a Turbo Hayabusa guy on our Discord server actually, and he was like, yeah, it's fun when it runs. And I never related with something so much. I was like, yes, that's exactly how it feels.
It's got its pee pad underneath it right now again.
Yeah, it's getting a new oil pan. Yeah, and hopefully it'll stop peeing. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for these new developments in all of our bikes. Josh is ripping up on his CRF. You're going to get the KLR. I've got the Husky. I think we got to, once you get the KLR, we have to have some sort of rematch, go back to Bastrop or somewhere else and have some fun.
The only problem with the KLR, if I may just go off on a KLR tangent here.
Let's go.
Kawasaki, why the is the drain bolt longer than the frame? What the is going on? Why do you have an ostensibly off-road motorcycle with 7.5 inches of ground clearance with a drain bolt longer than my thumb sticking down underneath the frame? Why? Why do I have to buy a low-profile drain bolt? Oh, man. And then there's the thermobob. And then there's the doohickey.
I mean, I feel you, because the first ride I took with my Husky, the slave cylinder gave out, and I had to replace it. So I completely understand. Took it out to the trails. It is funny because I betrayed my own rules. You buy a used bike, you take it in, give it a once-over, look at everything, look at the stuff online. I bought it, and the same day I was like, new bike! I gotta go ride a new bike! And then I just went out and, yeah, the slave cylinder gave out. Which is such a known issue on those bikes. You've had issues with your slave cylinder on your machine.
Yep, that whole day was just a disaster, man.
Yeah.
But yes, the slave cylinder, you probably should see if you can get in on that lawsuit that's coming from, or I think it's a class action thing against them, because they just sent out the recall notice and they're like, after like 5 years, we finally realized that this is a bit of a problem.
Yeah. I mean, Recluse has probably made money hand over fist making new slave cylinders for every single Husky and KTM that's come out in the last 5 years.
I have the Recluse, you have the Recluse, Whitney has the Recluse.
Yep.
All three of our motorcycles have had the slave cylinder go out. So,
yeah.
But hey, it's just, that's Eurobike life.
I suppose. And it's funny because the bike is so good, I somehow forgive it. That's Stockholm Syndrome, if you ever, had to think of it. But that's our update for our new motorcycles here in the shop. That's some comings and goings here on Yami Noob. Let us know what you think down below in the comments of our new bikes. Josh has his CRF 250. I've got my Husky 501. And then Spider over here has his KLR 650. Maybe getting it later today. Excited to see.
We'll see, yeah.
And then we're going to be having some videos on them, but not too many because we do have all the giveaway bikes we have to talk about and Turbo Busas and all kinds of fun stuff. And we've also got next week the reveal of our new beginner bike giveaway, which is also a dual sport.
Yeah.
So we kind of went from like all sport bike all the time to it's like dirt bikes all the time. Like we just went radically the other direction.
Guys, we keep trying to tell you, dirt bikes are where it's at. Go try one out.
Super fun. You will not regret it. And with that, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. All right, look, you don't have to lie to me. If you had time for one Yami Noob video all the way to the end, you probably have time for another one. You should probably just click this link and watch the video right over here. I promise it's going to be good. You won't regret it. Seriously, you should just click it. I'm sure it's good. We only make good stuff around here. You should just watch it. Why are you still here?